Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's Saturday afternoon and it's finally cooled down a little bit. Weather's cooled down. We're supposed to get maybe a whole 3/4 inch of rain tomorrow. We can hope. Plow day for tomorrow is now postponed till next Sunday due to the pretty good chance we're getting rain tomorrow. So hopefully it does rain. I don't know if it's going to soften the ground up much, but should be good. If you notice, some 5-gallon buckets sitting around here. I went through and topped off front rear transmission and then the middle transmission. In this, there's a check plug on the transmission just on the other side of where I'm pointing, and then you fill it up here just like the regular Molines. And this took about 7 gallons in the regular transmission. So this week it's about all I got done. I did a little more playing around with this today. This morning Eric and I took a drive and just kind of went out and checked things. We stopped by and saw friend Robin and Josh and kind of looked. I sold them a 69 302 a couple years ago. Checked that out and some of their other stuff. They've got a U and a Z and UB special there that Robin's got to work on at some point. And there's an R sitting in there that we didn't go back and look at, but I noticed it was sitting in the same spot. And his wife Susan said that she enjoys the fact that at night when she goes to bed, she gets to hear my lovely voice, which probably puts her to sleep immediately, I'm going to guess. So anyway, I just had to do a couple things around here. I think I'm going to start maybe pulling off some of these hydraulic lines, and I got to get to the cylinders on this, get all those off, get them to Oliver Phil. Although I know right now he is super busy with about 400 other things. At least when I get them off, that's making a little progress, and I'll just keep doing little things on this, trying to get it more ready. Owen Knight was here this week. He said it just doesn't look right with the black motor in there, but like he said, when you get all everything in there and around it with the body work, it will kind of camouflage the black motor. But excited to get this thing running at some point. So I'm gonna go, I think I need to dump horse manure, and then I'm gonna probably start pulling some hydraulic lines, and again, numbering and lettering and everything, although we know from I think Phil has kind of everything written down that he made before, and he can just make the exact same things. We'll obviously check it just to make sure, and kind of go from there. All right, so I've got my book out that I took my notes on the last time I took all these hoses off, and I numbered them. And I want to make sure I kind of keep them consistent, because that'll make it easier for Phil to match up what lines go with what. But I think actually on these lines, coming back to the remotes, I want to change my lengths to more of this. The other ones ended up being a little too long. I think these are better. And I think some of those had been replaced because they had different fittings going into the control block down there. So what I need to do is figure out which line comes out of which port down there, and then where it goes up here. And in order to do that, I gotta pull this bolt off that's holding everything right there, and then I can start seeing what's going on, shake lines and see where it goes. That didn't want to come out. That should. Oh, it's stuck on the hoses. That's why it's not popping off. Those hoses are, man, pinched around it there. And there's a bushing in there. So I'll make sure that I keep the bushing and all that together. And then they go through a little sleeve back here going through, which actually works pretty well. So I might try to save that and reuse it on the next one. So I think first things first, I need to take it loose down here and then kind of shake it a little bit and then figure out where it's going up there. So I gotta go get wrenches. So I was walking over to get wrenches, and the truck was sitting here, and I was walking around the truck back and forth to get tools. And it occurred to me, that's kind of not smart. Why? Because this tool cart is on 4 wheels that are all on casters, which I built it that way, so that I could roll this around the shop, so that I wouldn't have to walk across the shop all the time and get tools. But you know what? When I worked on the other A4T, I walked back and forth probably 4,000 times. So, not going to do that on this one. I'm going to move my tool cart over here and keep it where I can actually get to it. And I just realized that after Moline Dan was here and we made that bet, that thing has not made it in the house. It's out here, and I should probably turn that around because I don't want to look at that M. Ugly M. All right. I gotta get my wrenches and then we'll get set back up. All right, so nothing really wants to break loose. I just tried it. Soaked everything, I'm gonna let it sit. Soaked everything back there, I'm just gonna let it sit. Went back through my notes, and I think I'm just gonna try to duplicate an order that I did it before. So I need to start with the lines underneath the steering wheel and then work my way through, and that way I keep all my numbers correct, which will help Phil greatly in figuring out what's what. So, and I'm running out of steam today because it's been a long day, so I don't know. If anything, I'm going to disassemble all that extra stuff up there around the steering wheel so that I can get at the areas I need to for those lines, and then yeah, just get it prepped a little bit, I guess. Well, another change plans. I was able to break these free. I was on the wrong thing. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. I labeled them the way that they were labeled before on my my notes from before, so that I can keep everything consistent. And let's put a drip pan down there. I don't know if there's anything left in these or not, but yeah, a little bit. But it looks like clean hydraulic fluid, so that's good. Oops, sorry, bumped you. Get you down in there. I was up, and when I was taking those pieces off the dash up there, you know, they added some gauges, and I guess they didn't trust the whatchamacallit, some of the idiot lights that are on there that they used on these, so they added gauges in. So I'm going to it's gonna make rewiring everything up kind of interesting, but I'd rather definitely, when it comes to the yeah, let me stop and think here. When it comes to oil pressure, I definitely want a couple gauges checking that out. Don't really want to trust an idiot light with that, but all right, I got to use both hands and bust this loose. Now I got this one broke free. The other one, the whole hose wants to twist, so that's going to be fun. Nothing like fighting it. But that's half the fun, is figuring this stuff out. I'll get some caps. I think I have some caps that will fit on here so nothing drips down dirt-wise into my housing here. I'll do something to cover it up. More clean fluid, and if you watch here, when I try to break this one free, the whole hose goes. So I gotta wedge something in there to keep that from happening. Oh. Got to get a pry bar, I think, because I got to use the hammer to help hit. All right, I was able to get that pried in there and make that work. So that's good. Sometimes just a little bit of rust makes everything a little difficult. And more fluid. The interesting thing is all this fluid is dripping down into the pan that's down there. I need to clean out the corners there. It's got little slots, but anyway, just gonna make a big mess on the floor. So I'm gonna hop down there and clean that up and get my pan set up so that I have the least amount of big puddle. This is out. I thought I was done, and then I went ahead and did it. So got them off of there. I just drug them outside so they could finish draining outside. And as you can see, it's always a big mess working on this stuff, but it's all right. Got those off, got those labeled, and now I'm about done for today, I would say. Pretty close. Well, it's Sunday, and you can hear the rain on the roof. We're not plowing, so I'm taking off the hydraulic lines under the dash. Can't really get the camera up in there because there's no good way for you to see it, but I've got 2 of the lines off from up under there. They are set up slightly different than I had documented in the other one, but I don't think that it really matters. But I'm going to label these and get back up there and take off the other 2 lines that are up in there. All right, I got most of those lines off. I got those free. Those go down to the steering cylinders. Just took off the long line that goes up to the pump. My pile of lines is growing. I just took off the bolt that goes up in there. Here's the bolt that goes through. It's got a cotter pin through it. It's in there someplace. I got to punch it out because it was rusted off. So I just put the impact on it and whisked it off. It was pretty rusty. Somebody's not greased that in a long time, so I had to put the nut back on it to tap it out. But I got this end of this steering cylinder loose. I'll go to the other side, do the same thing over there, and then I'll put on my trusty greasy raincoat and go underneath and get the underside done, and then get the steering cylinders out, and those lines will come with it, and I'll take those lines off once they get out here. I want to think, there was something I did when I put the last ones back on. Did I put the lines on out here and then try to put them up in there? I can't remember. I better try to remember that, because I remember there was a little bit of a fiasco in doing that. But I'm going to go to the other side and get that one loose, and then we'll go underneath. It's never fun. All right, I was able to get the cotter pin out of this one. It didn't break. And that came off all right. Should be a washer there. There it is. And we'll see if this one will. Nope, that one's not been greased in a long time either. Grease is good. All right, dry as a bone. I got it out. So now that I got those done, I'll crawl underneath. Very dirty under there. Now I'll try to show you what it's like under here. It's not fun. What I need to get off is a nut that's up there in that junk. I tried to power wash this out, but obviously I didn't do a very good job. Last one I got down in here and did a ton of scraping. Obviously I'm gonna have to do that again. So I think what I gotta do is, yeah, I gotta take off. There's a bolt there that I gotta take off that holds that, get my impact on the bottom of this, and then get a box end wrench on the top, try to get it out that way, and then get rained on with a ton of old grease. Sorry, I kind of let the camera dip and you're looking at the drive shaft. So, all right, I'm gonna try to do this. Well, one steering cylinder out. Oh, that was a pain. And yep, the line is spewing fluid all over, and I'm covered in all this crap that's been raining down on me, but got that one out. Now let's get the other side done. And success, second cylinder off. I'm going to have to say, on a scale of 1 to 10 on fun things to do on a Sunday, if you want to rate them, this is a kind of like at a 1. Yeah, and I still need to get under there and scrape everything out. But I'm gonna go around to the other side, drag those things out. Probably better get a pan ready because the one cylinder hasn't drained its lines yet, and I'm sure it's going to. And then I gotta crawl under there and clean up where that one just spewed all over the place. So, get you set up here. Lines are about as hard as a rock, so not surprised. And there you get knocked over because the lines are hard as a rock and the cylinder's kind of heavy. Sorry about that. All right, let's get the other one. Part of the problem is I'm not as nimble as I used to be. And so getting under there and getting wrapped up like a pretzel around the drive shaft in order to do that's not fun. And then having stuff rain down on you is not fun. But anyway, got these out. I better scrape these off or Oliver Phil's gonna have a big fit about how I bring him dirty cylinders. But I'd say that's years of buildup crap on there. All right, I'm gonna pull these lines off and capped off the cylinders. Then I'll scrape them off, and then we'll move to the back of the tractor and take some lines off back there, I think is the plan. Just had to think about that. And just for the record, especially since Oliver Phil watches my channel sometimes, I tried to clean those off. I mean, that's what I scraped off them. So Phil, when you get them and you complain on your channel about me not cleaning them, if I get the hot water pressure washer out one more time, I will hit them with that. But I can't say that that's going to happen. But look at all that I got off for you. All right, so I got the hydraulic line off that comes through here, goes through there to a metal line that goes to the control box that would normally be in there if it wasn't cracked. Comes down, feeds this cylinder here, and then there's another line that goes through that joins the two lift cylinders here in the rear. Pulled that one off. It had water in it. It's there on top. So definitely water has made it pretty much all the way through this hydraulic system. So I'm gonna get a punch, take out these, get those pins out of the top so I can tilt these cylinders back a little. All right, we'll try this again since the stupid GoPro battery that said it had 50% left just died. About done with GoPro. If you got a suggestion for a better camera, love to hear it. Anyway, tilt those cylinders back a little, then I can get to the bolts that allow me to drive out the pins at the bottom, and then I'll get those cylinders off. And the only lines, I think hydraulic lines I got left to do then are the big ones that go from the cab right up there right down here to feed that, and those are 2 big lines. And I had to buy an extra. Last time I did those, I had to buy a big set of crow's feet to get in here to get those off, because it was such a pain in the butt. So, but that's what I got to do in order to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, these cylinders are freaking killing me. It's tough getting the top pins out. Bottom pins, I've driven out some, driven back, lubing the crap out of them, but they don't want to come out. I don't know what, I've never had this much trouble. Usually they just come right out. Just everything's super dry and a little bit of rust on this thing. I want to say the back end of this was facing the west, if I remember how it was parked. So, but holy crap, I'm like, yeah, this is killing me. Might take a little break and try to get those other lines off and then come back to this, because kind of frustrating right now. I even brought out the die grinder down there just to make sure that I cleaned up the edges of that, if I knocking them through, if I created any lips or anything, but I don't think I have. So I don't know. This is a tough one. All right, I finally got those loose up there with the crow's foot, with the brake cable, with it's just a, oh, it's a pain. Anyway, yes, I'm saying that a lot today because stuff gets old and these lines get hard. It's really, and it's no room to work under there with the crow's foot, and those are like 1.25 inch crow's foot. But anyway, what I want to show you is this one is still pretty well intact as far as how things run through here. So those 2 lines are behind that bracket there, then they go through the middle. So this is still pretty close to being the way that it was. So I just wanted to show that real quick before I take that bracket loose. Then I got to loosen up the middle so that I can pull them through there. And there, I think, there's another bracket over there just before they go in there. I get that off, and then I should be able to pull these 2 lines off. There's some big lines. One little non-A4T related bit of info, but everybody makes fun of me because this nose piece is not on the Jetstar. I do have it. It's just been, it's gone. It was pretty dinged up, and long story. It's getting straightened out. It's just taking like 7 years to do it. But anyway, Gary Quick messaged me last night and asked if I was interested. You can see in that picture, his brother is making brand new ones, hand making those. So if you are looking for a nose piece for a Jetstar or a 302, you might want to reach out to Gary and have him get you in touch with his brother. They're $250, which seems a little steep if you're not aware that nobody makes those things. And if they fit great and it looks like the quality of them is real good, it's worth $250 all day, especially if you're doing a restoration. So just passing that along. Hopefully that helps somebody that's looking for one. And yeah. Well, after much to do, we got those 2 lines off. The top one goes here, the bottom one goes underneath there. And he's got those outside draining out. More fluid on the floor. Can't help that all the time. But so today, I think, was fairly successful. I'll get those cylinders off this week at some point. I just, yeah, I'm done messing with that for today. Nice pile of hoses. 2 cylinders that are nice and clean for Oliver Fill. These hoses are draining out here right now, but they'll join the pile. I'll probably still take these over to Phil's, even though he's got measurements, just to check and make sure that everything is the same as it was on that one. But yeah, so probably this is going to be a short video. Just me trying to get as much done on this thing as I can. I know it's probably going to take Phil a while to make hoses. He's got to rebuild the hydraulic pump. And then I think I'm going to pull the power steering pump off, although you can't get that kit anymore in order to rebuild that. I might have him go through that too, just because there's been so much water through this system. So got to figure that out. But slowly but surely we're making some progress on this thing. And like I said, when it's done, there'll be new rubber on every place. Everything should be pretty fail-safe, hopefully, fingers crossed. And yeah, I kind of did some stuff. Might have some more projects coming here to the shop, kind of waiting to see what happens with that. So just a little tease. Hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, then I guess if you see me sometime, you say, what didn't work out? And I can tell you, but fingers crossed. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Give me comments. If you know a better camera than a stupid GoPro, then love to hear it. And yeah, until hopefully next Sunday we'll be plowing. We got pretty good amount of rain today. It should soak it up. I think there's a little bit of chance of rain this week at some point, but I'm hoping that next Sunday the A4Ts, they're working ground down and everybody's out plowing. So until then, have a great week. We'll see you later.